What's cracking, everybody, and welcome to episode 240 of the Good Kraken podcast. I am one of your resident hosts today, Ernell Pearson, alongside baby boy. We got him, baby. It is Good Kraken's very own DJ DJ, how are you on this lovely Saturday, my friend?
Dude, I'm doing good. I got my coffee. I got a coffee. And I'm just sipping, talking to you.
Feels
I was
good, man.
just,
Feels good. .jpg.
yeah, dude. I just, done with the first week of classes. Definitely. There's one class where I'm like, I might struggle.
You gotta hydrate
um,
from Esco.
yeah.
Mm, mm.
Um,
What are you drinking over
I'm
there?
reminded.
I saw that fast food cup. What did you have for breakfast?
No, this is just coffee. I just have these cups
Oh,
around.
okay.
Yeah. Um, and I'm reminded I'm a mass communication major because every class that I went to so far was like, there's an assignment having to do with LinkedIn. And I fucking hate LinkedIn. I absolutely
Don't
despise
we
LinkedIn. I
all
actually got
do?
hacked. My LinkedIn account got hacked by some Chinese hacker that changed my profile pic, changed my bio, made themselves into like this Chinese woman who started making like they removed all my connections and started connecting with like some oil CEOs and shit like that. And I'm like and started messaging them like hey, can we blah blah blah, like networking. I'm like, why? And like they set the language to Mandarin, and so I would get emails in Mandarin. Like when I had to reset my password, I couldn't see what the fuck it was. I was like, I don't know what link I'm supposed to click on.
So that's how you got so good at the Bing shilling thing. Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And no, I just hate LinkedIn. It's like it's biggest circle jerk.
I hate that I had to make one. I had to make one for work, and it's so fucking annoying.
It's not
so
even
annoying.
it's not even like a good place to find jobs anymore. It's literally another social media website, dude. It's literally
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
it's like the most like with Instagram, I can understand like why you can be fake. You know what I mean?
Right.
But LinkedIn, it's like that over performance of professionalism that just turns into pretentiousness, that turns into just fucking jerking each other off. Like, oh my God, like, I'm so happy you got this opportunity. You're going to do great. I'm like, you hate each other. I don't understand. Like you don't give a fuck. You don't care.
Let's go in chat. I'm happy to announce that I got promoted.
Yeah, like I'm happy to join the great team at blah 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 company and work to build a future within this field. Like, shut up. Like, please shut up.
This is
Shut
so
up.
fucking ridiculous.
I
man.
don't care. Nobody cares. None of your connections care. I promise you.
Well, speaking of work, though, I got a new roommate recently, and he's actually chilling right behind me. What's up, Scooter? What's Scooty? Yeah, he works in the back for me. He hands me anything.
Don't
that
you
I
mean he
need.
works in the front? Because like he works.
True,
at the
actually,
cashier
yeah,
in
no,
the front.
that is.
You're
fair.
in the
That's
back.
fair.
Technically, you're in the back.
Yeah, I'm cooking.
Get your
I'm
lore
cooking.
right, dude. This guy's fumbling.
Yeah, I know.
This
I'm
guy
sorry.
doesn't know
I'm sorry.
SpongeBob
Yeah,
lore.
Squiddy's been kicking it. He's
That
been
looks
kicking
sick
it.
though,
You know what
dude. It looks like it's actually imprinted into the like that's actually
I
like,
know,
real.
dude.
Yeah, it's so sick.
It turned out real good, dude. It turned out real-
For our audio listeners, behind Ernell, it's a portrait of Squidward looking like when he turns around to talk to SpongeBob, the fucking window, which is sick. It looks sick. It looks.
dope.
It's so cool.
I saw it on Amazon. I was like, yeah, I gotta get that.
That's
I
on
gotta get
Amazon. How
that.
much was it?
$10. Let's fucking go.
$10?
$10, dude.
$10 for that's a steal for $10, to be fair.
Yeah, man.
Something
Twitter.com
in my
slash
eye, dude. What
Fat
the
Kid
fuck?
Deals. Y'all go check out Fat Kid Deals on Twitter because he be putting out those prices. I'll tell you what, those
Dude, there's
steals.
something in my eye, and it's like bugging the shit out of me.
Is it your glasses?
And I hate you so much.
I know you.
I'm gonna let you know that right now.
If you want to take a second, I can kind of do our intro if you need to. If you
Yeah,
come
no,
up
you
with it.
can.
All right. Well, while DJ is doing that, this is the Good Kraken podcast, your choice for all the nerdy video game and pop media news, reviews, and discussions that you may or may not want to see. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 12 p.m. If you're riding this wave, you can head on over to our Discord channel where you can submit questions and topics to the show, get exclusive post-show content, and soon have early access to episodes before they go live on podcasts and video services across the digital sea. What? Hey, DJ, what's up, dude?
What's up for now?
Hey, man. So if you've emptied your pockets for the latest and greatest in entertainment, that is totally fine. You can watch us record the show live right here at twitch.tv/GoodKrakenShow. If you have Amazon Prime, you also have Twitch Prime, DJ.
Prime Gaming.
And we would love for you to give that to us to help keep us pushing content out for all of you that are listening or watching at home. But you can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, clicking that beautiful bell and big red button, or by subscribing to our podcast channel by searching Good Kraken with an exclamation mark and leaving a review there.
Review.
DJ,
What's up?
we have some captain's orders, my friend. So speaking of what Esco's talking about, that's DJ's brother, Viet Dong. Sorry about the mishap with Shipwreck Show, y'all. So DJ recorded that episode. He accidentally had a second channel for the Discord audio in
It
there.
sounds good on my end, like in my file explorer. So
No. Right. And I was listening to the raw video, and for whatever reason that sounded fine. I don't know if it just doesn't play second channels via media players or something like that, but it does when you export it. I don't know, but
Yeah,
I got it fixed. We got it taken care of. We had to take it down at first, and then I got it re-uploaded, and it is out as of this morning if you're watching live. If you're not watching live, it is out. You can go check that out. And Jesus Christ, you guys. Jesus,
it was
Jesus
a funny episode.
Y'all,
that was a hilarious episode.
Firstly, I am annoyed you guys did all the questions because now I have to find 3 questions for next week instead of only 2. And then secondly, y'all were cooking with those stripper names, dude. Y'all were fucking.
Dude, I was surprised. I was like, what
the Hoochie Men thing had me fucking dying.
That was fucking hilarious.
Because you were like, my dad's gonna disown me for 2 different reasons. And I knew exactly what you were putting down for right there, dude. It was fucking great.
No,
man.
like it was. Yeah, that was funny.
it was a good episode. You guys at home need to check that one out. It was a solid piece of content. So you guys can catch that over on youtube.com/GoodKrakenShow or your podcast service of choice. But here on twitch.tv/GoodKrakenShow, next Tuesday for our following Good Kraken podcast, we are doing our MCU Phase 2 official ranking. So what we're doing is we are ranking the Phase 2 movies along with our Phase 1 rankings that we did some months back. And we're going to each quarter, we're adding on another phase for the MCU until we are all caught up on ranking all the MCU movies together so we have a comprehensive MCU list. And then after that, we can probably talk about, adding on the shows, the Disney Plus shows, onto that content as well. So we have a full MCU ranking, generally speaking, that you guys can look at, and we can, catch it on there. And then lastly, and I didn't put this on the captain's orders, but I want to get a heads up on talking about it. So you guys more than likely know about Letterboxd, which is an app that you guys can, download on your phone. It allows you to sort of like rank and like review movies and stuff, as a sort of like social media platform. People can see what your rankings are for movies and ratings for different movies. There is one for video games as well called GG app. And you can get on your phone. It's literally the exact same thing, but for video games. And Good Kraken is going to be on both of them. So right now I'm getting things set up for us to be able to be present on there. So you guys can see our rankings and reviews on different movies and video games along with yours. And so that way we can kind of touch some base and you guys can get some coverage on extra stuff without us having to talk about it directly on content. So it's not quite perfected yet, but you will be able to catch us on there. It will be Good Kraken Show, just like it is everywhere else. So be prepared for that. We'll let you guys know once we're ready to pull the trigger. Anyways, let's get into what we're here together for today, DJ, because we have a hell of a conversation ahead of us. DJ, what are we doing next for the people at home?
Well, for the people at home, it's always great to practice safety and take care of your well-being.
Yes.
And by that, I mean they have to protect the neck. Protect the neck, because we're going to the gallows.
Gallows. Okay, so today for the gallows, me and DJ are talking Gran Turismo, our official spoiler-free review. Oh boy, we're going to get into this, guys. We have lots to talk about. So, based on the unbelievable, inspiring true story of a team of underdogs, a struggling working class gamer, a failed former race car driver, and an idealistic motorsport exec who risk it all to take on the most elite sport in the world. Released initially on August 11th, 2023, which they actually did a limited release for some IMAX screenings in 32 different markets across the country. And then they delayed the full release to August 24th, which was the other day, which is why we're reviewing this now. So, directed by Neil Blomkamp, who has done District 9, Chappie, and Elysium. All fucking wonderful movies. Wonderful fucking movies. This guy just kills it time after time. Budget of $60 million and a box office internationally so far of $22.6 million. It most definitely is going to hit that 60 mil. I promise you it's going to hit that 60 mil. And a runtime of 2 hours and 15 minutes. The Bechdel test is a measure of the representation of women in film and other fiction. The test asks cheekily whether a work features at least two women who talk to each other about something other than a man for more than 1 minute of screen time. Question here, does Gran Turismo pass the Bechdel test? It does not.
No.
Definitely does not. There's like maybe three women.
There's like 3 women, and
they don't interact for a majority of the movie.
Totally, their total screen time is like 5 minutes. Like,
literally.
all 3 of them combined to 5 minutes of screen time. I'm pretty sure.
Literally, dude. It's fucking, yeah, Jesus Christ. Some fishy facts for you guys. We'll call it that. We'll call them fishy facts. Jan Mardenborough plays a stunt double in the film for the actor who portrays himself. So yeah, the story is about Jan Mardenborough's story. And they got him to be a part of the movie, which is actually pretty damn cool. Many of the film's racing sequences were shot with the Hungaroring in Hungary, standing in for various different circuits. Most notably, oh, geez, Christ, I'm gonna make you say it again. The
Hungaroring.
Hungaroring. Okay, I got you. Thank you, sir. The Hungaroring stands in for Silverstone during the GT Academy sequences. The drivers drive the circuit in reverse in an attempt to mask the real location, as well as Le Mans, where several of the Hungaroring's distinctive corners are used. The final corner being most noticeably different to the real-life layout of the circuit, de la Sarthe, in spite of the addition of set dressing and digital backdrops to obscure its location. So to translate that for those of you that don't understand car speak, they used one place and flipped the way people were driving around this one place to make it look like another place, and they did that with multiple different locations.
In the movie, they're racing on different circuits. In real life, you're racing on different circuits, but they're at just one circuit that they digitally altered in some areas to make it look like
which they did a good job on. They did a good job of altering it.
It's
Yeah.
noticeable sometimes, but
Yeah, every
um,
here and there, but that's if you're like really kind of zoning in on like paying attention to the
yeah.
shit, you know. Well,
I mean,
anyways,
sometimes you have to pay attention to this. sometimes the movie, sometimes the movie just makes you pay attention to those things.
we'll get there. We'll get there. Orlando Bloom's character, Danny Moore, is inspired on the real life Darren Cox. Cox is a former Nissan Europe executive who in 2008, founded GT Academy to help Sony PlayStation for that racing gamers could have a chance to become professional racing drivers. And then, although the Gran Turismo movie has been in the works at least as far back as 2013, Yan was approached in 2017 about the concept of the film being based on his experiences. When they asked him, he questioned, "Why me?" And also, he didn't believe it because they said maybe there's a chance the movie is going to be made about him, the key word being maybe. And then lastly, former Spice Girl Jerry Halliwell is in real life married to Christian Horner, who is team principal of the Formula One racing team Red Bull. After her marriage in 2015, she changed her name to Jerry Horner. In the movie, she is credited as Jerry Halliwell Horner. So yeah, the mom, Yan's mom in this is a Spice Girl. Yeah, she doesn't look it like she aged.
I just thought it was a random actor.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, like,
Jesus Christ.
I was like, oh yeah, just generic mom, mom actor number 3.
Because that's what she was generic mom actor number 3.
Yeah, no, she nailed it. I'm saying, like, I'm not saying she did a bad job. I'm just saying, you know.
I mean, she didn't do a knock up job either. Like, she did the
No,
mom thing.
I mean,
She's like,
it was pretty
"I love you,
Oscar-worthy,
love."
you know.
Just be safe, you know.
Oh, that phone, dude, the phone call scene, dude, that made me mad. That made me mad, but we'll get into that.
Let's, as a matter of fact, DJ, let's get into it right now, my boy. DJ, the big start question here. What were your top level thoughts of Gran Turismo?
Dude, I have so many mixed feelings about this fucking movie.
Okay. All right.
It is. There are, and don't get me wrong, okay? And also, a fishy fact is that this movie's full title name is not just Gran Turismo. It's Gran Turismo, based on a true story.
Yeah, yeah.
That is part of the title. So, and it is very, they are very, how do you say it? I'm trying to think of the word, but they're very, the word liberal pops into my head, but it's like they're very liberal with that term, based on a true story. They're very,
they're egregious. They're egregious about it.
Yeah, they're like, you know, lighthearted with it, or like they just take that based on a true story really hard. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
sure.
they don't really push that really hard because this isn't like a faithful retelling of Jan Mardenbrough's story. They take a lot of liberties in telling his story and how his life and his and the narrative is pushed throughout this film. Because this is not 2008. This is not based in when Jan Mardenbrough was starting out in his career. This is based in
2023.
It doesn't say,
honestly, like
yeah, it's supposed to. There's not really a set time period. The film kind of just leaves it up to you to be like, oh, this is just happens. This is just happening.
Right.
But this is basically set in modern times with the vehicles that they use, the cars, the even the setups, the gaming setups, like that. It's all modern. All this is pretty modern.
Yeah.
But Jan Mardenbrough broke out in 2008, in 2007. So that was like a whole different era, especially for Gran Turismo, the video game, which barely had HD graphics at the time, you know?
right.
So this film mixes me up in a lot of ways, because in the beginning of this film, like the first act, this does not feel like a high budget film.
Right,
It
right, right.
it it,
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
there's a lot of choices in cinematography that makes it feel like a student film or like a short film, like an amateur short film, like the choices in using like camera shakes and the like point of view shots, the perspective, all of it seems very like an amateur like rendition of this story. Like it just feels like some type of British short film. um,
yeah. The a
it looks like
majority of the
a,
first act, yeah.
like a CBS like like production as film, you know. Um,
I'm all great.
and but um, but the story is sort of there. It start building, and as the film is going on, you can't help but start being emotionally connecting and actually feeling the story and being invested in the main protagonist Jan, and his journey through becoming from going to a simulation driver that plays Gran Turismo, the video game, to being a real life racer. Um, and there's a lot of like emotional moments that really get at you. Like I caught myself crying to some scenes because some of the voice, like some of the dialogue work is in writing is powerful. It's
Yeah.
really good and it really shines through. And then there's like just it's like those moments that are really great mixed in with some really good shots, like really good cinematography, and then but that's also mixed in with really weird choices in cinematography and weird choices in dialogue and voice direction and acting direction that you just kind of scratch your head at because like you're toggling in between this movie is really good and I'm immersed and I'm invested, and then like a minute later you're like, oh, this is a movie. Like you're brought out of the immersive experience and you're like, this is kind of corny. It's kind of cringy. It's kind of, like what are they really talking about? What are they saying? Like, what do you mean? Like, why are you doing this? Like, you just ask yourself those questions when you get to those moments in those films, in this film. So that's why I'm so mixed up about it because there's really good things to say about this film, but there's equally and possibly even more so a lot of things that I question about this film, like the choices in cinematography, like I said, and the choices in acting direction. It's just weird. The whole setup is weird. Um, because and to just to wrap my thoughts up, this story it is based on a true story of Jan Mardenborough,
Yes.
right? Um, it is not a very faithful retelling, and I'm glad that he's on the project, and I'm pretty sure he helped with you know getting getting notes to these actors and how the story's supposed to go. But I wished that they who was directing it? What's his name?
Neil.
Neil Blomkamp would either lean on it being a faithful retelling or just not, because this film teeters the line a lot. And I don't think it works for the film because it feels like, if you would lean more, if it was lean more into like faithfully retelling Jan's story, I feel like I would have believed it and would have been more emotionally invested because it's like, if it's based on a true story, I want to know the truth. I want to know how Jan felt in these moments and what's at stake and how these things are playing out in his head. Or if you wanted to be more of a dramatized like retelling, then like lean into the drama, like lean into like the big set pieces and stuff like that, and like change the character name so it's not exactly Jan, but it's based off of his story. Like the script is based off of it. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
inspired by his story.
Sure. Sure.
But they mix in the realism with the fiction, and it just makes you confused.
Yeah, that's fair. I can see where you're coming from. I want to before I go. I want to get a chance to read Garrick's right in here because he
Yeah,
has some very
he has
similar
some stuff to say.
thoughts. So Garrick writes in. He watched the movie as well, and he says, based on a true story, huh? Gran Turismo spends 2 hours getting you invested into characters that aren't even real. David Harbour is by far the strongest facet of this film, and Jack Salter is not a real individual. In fact, neither is Orlando Bloom's Danny Moore. The events don't happen in the order that they do in real life, and some events are shown in a light that make the story seem like something it isn't. Namely, that Yan was not the GT Academy pioneer he's painted to be in the movie. Marketing this film as any sort of biopic was a mistake, especially following the release of Oppenheimer. Cringy, cliche dialogue mixed in with the epic speech performances and camera work outside of the cars that felt downright amateur at times made for a wildly imbalanced viewing experience where one moment you're on the edge of your seat and the next you're actively waiting for the movie to just end. When it isn't constantly reminding you that it's actually an ad for Gran Turismo, PlayStation, or even Sony itself, it does manage to drive home an interesting story that many gamers will connect with and some high-octane race sequences that keep you invested in the stakes of the characters, even if 80% of the main cast are playing works of fiction. So I'll give Garrick's rating near the end here, but I want to make sure that was very blatantly understood that Garrick has very similar thoughts.
It feels
as
like an
DJ.
ad in the first act.
Yes, yeah, and
Guys,
in a lot
I'm
of
using
ways.
a PlayStation. Like, I'm like, what do you mean? What are you like? What are you talking about?
So here's the deal. Okay, here's the deal.
You like this movie? I knew it.
This is one of my favorite movies of the year.
What?
This is one of my favorite
What?
movies of the year. Here's
One of your favorite
this
this
is-
year? Or-
this year, yes, of this year. This is one of my favorite movie
Like,
experiences.
I'm
I've
gonna
had.
let you. I'm gonna let you cook, but like,
Yeah, hey,
I need to-
Clark, let me cook. Okay, let
Like-
me cook. All right, here's the deal. I think that y'all are letting this be based on a true story sway you a little bit more than it absolutely needs to. I went into
this
this.
is what they put it out as, man.
No, trust me, I know. I understand where you're coming from, and by no means am I like
Yeah.
doing that to shit on you, nothing.
Yeah.
I have the understanding that any movie that says that it's based on a true story or it's inspired by a true story, anything like that, is gonna be bullshit. Every single one. I don't care if it's Oppenheimer. I don't care if it's Rockstar. I don't care if it's Mark Wahlberg in that movie where he's a Philadelphia Eagle football player. I don't fucking care. I don't care. Invincible. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. So when I go into a movie that says based on a true story, and I know that it's bullshit, I'm going into it just for the movie experience. Now here's the deal. This movie is a terrible biopic. It is not a good biopic. And because of the reasons that you and Garrick share, that it does not tell this story faithfully. It definitely exaggerates a whole lot of stuff that happened and moves stuff across the timeline. It changed character names to represent other people. It's a massive biopic mess. But this is a good movie. This is a good movie. Okay, I would argue that this is Top Gun for racing. I'm gonna say it, dog. I'm gonna say it, man.
I'm not saying it. Look, I'm not saying I hated it. The movie. I'm just saying the stuff that I found just was really jarring. You know,
yes, for sure, for sure.
Like Garrick said, the racing sequences they're fucking intense,
and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of racing in this.
It's good. It's good, but mixing with that, you're like, how do I take this movie seriously?
Now let me be fair. Okay, let me be fair. The first act is a mess. It is a big fucking mess. Them trying to kick off this story of how things play about, how it comes into play. They're not moving quick enough. They're trying to explain how he gets into the position that he does, but also why he has the relationship with his dad that he does, but also why he has this relationship with his brother, but also why he has this relationship with his mom, why this thing was starting. Just a lot of shit we don't fucking need to know about. A lot of shit we don't need to fucking know about. And like literally, they could have just focused on the dad thing because like Jamon Hansu is incredible in
he's
everything he ever touches, and he's incredible in this. I fucking cried. During that scene. You know what scene I'm fucking talking about? I was like, fuck, man. It got me, dude. And I'm in the theater by myself with a bald white dude and this like Mexican lady with her two like 10-year-old kids maybe, and I'm in the way back, the back fucking row, just sobbing, like damn near open mouth sobbing. He fucking kills it in this. David Harbour fucking kills it in this. I wish they would have just focused on his relationship with those two. And like they do that for a majority of the film, specifically with David Harbour's character and Archie Madekwe, who plays Ian Martinborough for you listeners at home. Their relationship is awesome. Like their dynamics are awesome. They have really, really good chemistry in this fucking movie. Mostly with Archie playing a version of Yan that is this sort of like antisocial kid because he's not used to it in that way because he's just sort of a video game geek.
Just like socially awkward.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to like go about things, and they use that as sort of a not a key thing, but it is a descriptor of his character throughout the course of the second act, where they talk about how he's not good on camera, he's not good with talking to people, he doesn't represent this the way that we want him to. My reasoning for feeling like this movie is so much better than I feel like it's going to get credit for is this uses it's a bad biopic, it's a good movie, but it's an excellent sports movie. Excellent sports movie because it utilizes the same sports movie cliches and like formula in a way that like makes you feel invested. Like even Garrick said it. Yeah, the characters are bullshit, but it spends 2 hours making you invested. Like you're still here for these fucking characters. You're like, God, I know you're not fucking real, but I still give a fuck though. I'm still here. I'm still watching these races, being like, dog, this is lit. Like every single race, I felt the stakes, I felt the pressure, I felt the sweat beating down from my forehead, be like, oh fuck, what's gonna happen, dude? Like, is he gonna get this? And they're so creative in how they utilize the aspect that this is a video game. This is a movie about a person who plays a video game. So it's also a bad video game movie.
The movie in and of itself,
right,
during the races.
So not only is it
especially using the Gran Turismo sounds.
Yes. Which the sound design of this was actually pretty dope too.
It's great.
It was fucking
really good.
Excellent. The goddamn sound design of this. So not only is it a bad biopic movie, not only is it a bad video game rendition movie, but it still holds up in every factor for me
sports movie.
Of being a good sports movie and being it's an excellent sports movie, but it's a good movie. And like for me, like being someone that genuinely enjoys sports movies, because I love sports movies. Gridiron Gang, fucking like I mentioned earlier, Invincible.
The Blind Side, you know,
the Blind Side. I know, unfortunately,
real, but it's a really good movie.
It's a really good movie, but it's not good, dude. Exactly, and so it does follow some cliches, but they utilize those cliches and they elevate them in a way that made me feel like I'm watching my first sports movie, good sports movie, since like The Blind Side. Since like Remember the Titans. Like it uses those like formulas there in such a fucking genius way of saying like, let's just commit to making the racing pieces dope as fuck, and let's commit to like David Harbour and Archie Madekwe just like having a good relationship, and people will give a fuck about what's going on here. They're gonna forget about the fact that a lot of this shit's exaggerated, that like a lot of this timeline shit. Because like for me, I didn't know the whole story of Ian Martinborough. I didn't. I knew generally that some things are going to be a little bit sloppily placed.
Yeah.
But going into this, because I had zero expectations for this to actually be a good biopic, I was like, all right, cool. I can go into this and just watch a fucking movie about racing. And if you look at it from the perspective of a movie about a kid fucking racing, about a kid who's never raced a day in his fucking life outside of a video game, this movie's hype as fuck.
is pretty good.
Like,
If it's in that lens and if it was marketed in that perspective, yes,
right,
it was,
right, right.
yeah,
Which is why I can say that I understand you and Garrick's
yeah,
grievances. I can understand where you guys are coming from because, like, it's weird because if you go into this wanting the story of Ian Mardenborough, you're gonna have a bad time. If you go into this wanting the story about a gamer becoming a professional racer, it's fucking tight. This movie is fucking
yeah.
tight, dude. Like, this movie's so much fun. Orlando Bloom, I could have fucking taken
so
or
like
leaving him, but
it's a bad biopic, but it's also like if you're going in for as a Gran Turismo fan, you're like, "Ah, this fucking sucks too."
exactly,
Like,
it's not a good video
yeah,
game to
yeah,
movie.
it's not a good video game movie either. So like, I guess it's just identity. I think that's my whole rant earlier about the top level. I think it's just identity. Like, where
Yes,
is
yes.
this film like getting its identity from? Like, what does it want to be, and is that stated clearly? Because
It's not. It's definitely not.
it's not at all. Because sometimes it feels like, oh, this is like it's supposed to be like a video game movie, a new movie about Gran Turismo, especially during the first act. They literally have a whole thing where it's like the guy who created Gran Turismo wanted to make the most
It is
realistic
not even the actual
simulation.
guy, dude. It's not even the actual guy. Yeah, dude. No, I know. I like I said, I totally fucking get it, man. I totally get it. And I was kind of like giggling under my breath because I was like watching this story unfold, and I was like giggling at moments where I was like, "There's no way that's fucking real. There's no way that's fucking
Yeah.
right, dude. Like, no, there's no goddamn way, right?" But it's all the bombastic shit that actually turned out to be pretty true. Like, there was a super fucked up car accident that happened that killed a viewer. It just happened 2 years after they show in the movie. There is like a dope ass fucking like academy thing that they did where they had dope ass little fucking like driving sim like seats and
Yeah,
shit.
like they had the whole line, like that whole thing
A
was
whole
actually,
fucking
like, real. That
line,
shit was
dude.
real.
Yeah,
I was like, what the fuck? Like, there's no way. Like, there's
yeah,
no way.
dude. It's fun.
Like, this
they,
is like some Ender's Game type shit, dude. Like,
so fucking cool, man. Like they're like I don't know, man. I just love a good fucking sports movie. I have a soft spot for good sports movies, and this is one of them. I just kind of wish that they would have marketed it as such. It like you said, if they would have just, I feel like this movie would be getting fucking high scores left and fucking right if they would have just said it inspired by the real life story, right, and just changed Yan's name to like Stephen
Someone
McQueen,
else.
you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Some that's what I was saying. Like, if they just leaned into one or the other, I feel like
right.
both, like it would make a better experience for just the viewers, and like it would be better with marketing. Like, I feel like it'd be easier. Like, you know, if
It would have been
market it as
easier. It
such.
would have been a lot easier
Yeah,
to
because
market
like
if they would have
now you
that way.
got now the fucking marketing team has to be like, it's not a true story, but it's the title's based on a true story. So like, what do we do?
And see, and this drives to the point that I was making earlier is that like for all of you at home, you need to get more used to not taking the based on a true story thing too seriously, because every single movie dramatizes a true story thing, right? And I wanted to drive it home too because last night I got done with the roast of Xander, which you guys can check out on YouTube now. Me and Garrett got a chance to just fucking cook Xander. It's great.
Yeah.
Just spank that little ass. After we got done with that, we went and watched this movie on HBO Max called Reality, which was a like HBO Max original movie about the girl who leaked the findings that proved that there was Russian collusion during the Trump election.
Oh.
And the girl that like found the information about it and sent it to news outlet for them to be able to produce the piece about it, and that's when everybody found out, oh fuck, Russia was involved in this. Whether people believe that's true or not, that's entirely up to you. Fuck you, conservatives. I'm just kidding. Anyways, that movie was sort of it's hard to explain. They had like audio recordings of what actually happened, and they have like moments throughout the movie where they like take a picture of, you know, the main character, and then the actual picture they took of her pops up on the screen. Things like that happen in it.
Hmm.
But the entire time watching it, I'm like, I highly doubt that this played out the ways that they're saying that it did, right? I highly doubt
Yeah.
that FBI agent was black. I highly doubt that, like, they, you know,
Hmm.
got everything exactly the way that it was supposed to be, right? I mean, like, we see all sorts of based on a true story movies, and I fucking highly doubt that they play out exactly the way the actual events do. So be careful, guys. Be careful out there. Don't, you know, swallow your food before you've chewed it, if you will. Just be careful. With that said, I do genuinely enjoy this movie. Like I said earlier, David Harbour is a goddamn king.
Dude, he's so good
He's
in this film.
so fucking, when you give David Harbour the availability to just do what David Harbour fucking does, he will carry an entire piece of content for you. An entire movie, an entire show. Like, obviously, we know him. Most people know him from Stranger Things. May also know him from Black Widow as Red Guardian. Everything he's in is goddamn gold.
And Archie, the main character, does really well too, dude. Like,
For being a
his
kid
acting
that
is
I don't
superb.
think I've ever seen him in anything else. Like,
I don't think so either.
here, I'll click his little profile person. So he was in, he's in Midsommar. Okay, so he's one of the friends in Midsommar. Fucking hate that movie. He's in a couple recent things.
Even a lot of people, yeah.
He's in the Apple TV show C that we were talking about a couple weeks ago. And he's in the new movie with Gal Gadot, the Zionist, Heart of Stone. I want to make sure I say the Zionist because, you know, we gotta keep it real around here. Yeah, so like he does incredibly well in this. I wish they would have given Jamon Hansu more screen time because he's like easily the second best actor in this fucking movie, if
Yeah,
not
and
the
he just
first.
pops in like once or twice. Like,
Yeah, he's maybe in this movie like 3 times, and he kills it all 3 times.
he kills it in like 2 and 3. The
Yeah,
one is
right,
like,
right.
you know, okay, yeah. It's
Well,
like,
and
you know,
and I feel like
build-up.
the first one's okay because the writing around the first
Dude, the
one's
first
okay.
act
Like
is
the-
so bad. I just, you gotta admit that first act is terrible.
It is pretty bad, dude. You either figure it out or you're gonna work here like me. And he's like, and he's just like, bye, good luck. Just like,
Like,
I was like, stop.
You're at the dinner
dude.
table, it's like, I'm not hungry anymore.
Dude, it was so poorly written. But the second and third act were dope enough to make up for things
Dope
for
as
me.
fuck.
So it's, you know, I'm fucking here for this movie, man. Like, yeah, y'all are gonna hear me ranting about this shit for a minute because I genuinely had a fucking good time with this. I guess we can, you know, kind of get into things now. We don't need to beat a dead horse or anything. So DJ, my boy, should people see this right away? And what is your final rating for this movie?
I think you should, if you are a fan of Gran Turismo or just racing and cars, don't go see this right away. I would suggest you wait until it comes on the streaming platforms if it ever does. Because I mean, it's a good watch, but not to go out to watch. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
I wouldn't take time out of my day to go watch it again. If you know. But if you're a fan of sports movies like Ernell and you like a good sports movie plot with some good, really good intense moments and some really stellar performances from David Harbour and Archie, then then you should. I feel like you know it wouldn't be a full-on waste of your time. There are a lot of things that, like the first act, some of the writing choices. The first act feels like
most
just
of
an
the
ad.
writing choices of the first act.
Most of the writing choices, but like the first and the first part of the second act and the first act is just basically like a PlayStation and Nissan ad. So it just feels like a YouTube movie, you know what I mean? Like someone like a YouTuber who somehow got a little bit of money, made like a hour and a half, you know, movie. That's what it feels like.
Here's the deal,
the production values like.
and I hate to interrupt you in the middle of your final notes here. But I gotta push back on this a little bit. Okay, how do you do this movie without it being a Nissan and PlayStation ad? You know what I mean?
Okay,
how do you do that?
It's not that. It's just the way it's presented. A good ad will make you forget that it's an ad. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, that's a fair argument. I mean, I guess my argument really is like it's not like Orlando Bloom was
in it. It's not. I don't care that the ad is in it. Like, I get it. Like, you get your money. Like, it's supposed to. It's funded by Sony, PlayStation, and Nissan.
Right.
Like, I understand that, but it's just like the blatant. Like, look, it's a PlayStation. Like, it's a Nissan.
I mean, they don't do that though. It's not like Orlando Bloom was over here. Like, I work for Nissan. Like, they don't do that. It just so happens there's a PlayStation logo on the car and like
I get that. I'm just saying, like, some of the writing choices was like, it felt so too on the nose. You know what I mean? Like, it felt too sales pitchy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's some lines where I'm like, okay, dude, like, calm down. Like, it felt like the world was built around the products instead of the products just being in the world, if that makes sense. Like, if it's like, of course Sony is there, PlayStation is there, like, but the characters don't act like it's just been there, or if that's the only thing, that it's like a surprise. It's like oh wow, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a it's like a spectacular thing.
I guess my argument really is that, like, it sort of felt like the ad stuff was a plot point, because he even says, like, we're trying to get more buyers for Nissan. Like, that's the entire reason that they're doing this. And so, like,
but like, that makes sense for his character, but I'm saying, like, the other characters that have no ties to any corporation, that just kind of be like, like, it's. I
love my PlayStation.
I get it.
I play Gran Turismo on my PlayStation.
Like, I'm like, okay, dude. I like, even I forgot his name already. The dad. He's like, I don't get this console PlayStations. Like, I'm like, I don't get this PlayStation shit, man. Like, during that scene, I'm like, are you serious?
I'll put in the dialogue, dude. Anyways, DJ, continue on. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sorry for that tangent, viewers, but like I said, if you're a fan of sports movies, like or no, and I was shitting on this movie, but I genuinely enjoy the second half of this film. Like, genuinely, it is actually a really good movie. It's just, it does not win you over in the first act at all. It does not. It will feel like you're wasting your time. You're like, there's no way this movie is gonna get good. There's no way, but it does. And then eventually, it just, you sink into your seat and you're like, you're invested. So that's why I'm hesitant on saying, like, you should go see it, because sometimes that first half could easily just turn you off to the rest of the film. I would either go to sleep or walk out, right? If it wasn't, like, certain elements, like some of the acting, the scenes, and the cinematography of the second act that really carry it to all the way to the end, to the finish line. You know what I mean?
Right.
This movie's limping through the first half of the film, and then all of a sudden it starts bucket sprinting like it's Usain Bolt towards the finish line, dude. Spectacular towards the end. So I would wait until it hits streaming services, because it's a good watch, with your friends or something, if you're into that, or like your partner. It's a good watch just to have one night. It's emotional. It's raw in some cases, like in terms of, like, the delivery and, like, some of these really hard hitting scenes. And it's cool. It's a cool sports movie. I would give this I'm gonna give it a 7. Give it a 7.
All right, keep it safe. I like it. Guys, Garrick's official rating on this movie was a 6.5. He was
Valid.
not quite as happy. I mean, 6.5 is still pretty good. Like that's
For
still good
Garrick, I feel like that's uh, in the sense I feel like that's pretty good for this movie and like who he is and how he thinks about movies.
right. Yeah,
Like I feel
yeah.
like that's pretty. It's good, but it's like there's stuff that he does not like.
I wish he would have been able to be here to like explain more in depth, because I can see him having some takes here, but I can also see
Because
him
I feel like he likes the movie
struggling.
too. Like he would agree with us like towards the like how we feel about some of the scenes. Because I
Right.
feel like he was probably like pleasantly surprised at some of the acting and the cinematography towards the
Right.
second half.
Right. Yeah, I just like for me, I struggled with this movie a lot like before it came out. Like you guys remember me mentioning, like I was like, dude, this movie's gonna be
Dude,
so bad.
it's
It's gonna
gonna
be so
suck.
fucking like these trailers are fucking like if I have to hear
It's so bad.
I've raced this 1,000 times, I'm gonna fucking off myself, dude. Like I'm
Dad, I raced this track 1,000 times.
1,000
I know
times.
the race line.
I know
Like,
that. It's so fucking God, dude, and the trailers did this movie so much injustice, because like a majority of the trailers are first act shit. Like a majority of it is like shit from the
Yes.
first act, and so like that totally fucking like ruins like any good hope that you would
I'm
have
telling
that
you,
this movie would be
it's
good.
like a YouTube free movie. Like like
Fucking
the first half.
awful, man. Like it's so terrible. But then you watch it, and I was kind of like, oh fuck, like I actually kind of give a shit about what's happening right now, and like and like that made me feel so much better. So yeah, like I don't particularly think that you guys need to be like scrambling to watch this right away in theaters. You definitely can wait for this. It's a sports movie. You don't necessarily have to see those right away. There's no real conversation to be had around movies like that. And this is no exception to that rule. So no, I don't think you particularly need to see it right away. If you are into racing stuff, I would say that seeing it on the big screen might do something for you, because the action set pieces in this, the racing set pieces in this, are fucking phenomenal. Like they do a really fucking good job of finding little tiny ways to make you feel the impact of everything, like up the ante a little bit. You feel the stakes every single race that they have in this, and there's a fucking plethora of them. It's not like they had like one race with like a bunch of different montages and shit. Like they do a series of races, and they like there's a good like 3 or 4 that are like impactful, important parts of the story, and they do an incredible job of like putting those together and make them believable. So yeah, I mean, if you're into racing stuff, maybe see this in theaters. It's a cool experience that way. I was a little bit bummed that I didn't see this in D-Box. I felt like this would have been a really good D-Box movie.
I couldn't see it in IMAX. My theater did not offer it in IMAX.
Ah, man, yeah, it was cool in IMAX. That sound design, man, that sound design.
Dude, the theater I was in was Auditorium 6. The proportions of the screen were wrong. Like it was slightly shortened at the top and at the bottom. So like there was one moment where there was a shot where like they ping like what his position is on the track, like they freeze frame and they ping his position.
Right.
It got cut off it got cut off like right here. like you see where my camera is. Like I just saw the tip of it like right here. Yeah. And I'm like,
that's bad, dude. That's
yeah,
bad.
that's why I was like, my experience was pretty bad. I wish I could see it in IMAX, because it would have probably bumped my score maybe like a 0.5, a little bit higher. But
oh man, yeah, no, that's a bummer. Yeah, you definitely missed out on a good experience there. Well, if you have a better setup at home, like I think it would be worth at least skipping the first like half of the movie, just get to the juicy stuff, just so you can see how cool those fucking scenes are.
Just get to the GT Academy stuff, and then it's like free.
And then it's cool.
Really
like,
good from there.
There's a cool like little montage thing that they do during the GT Academy shit. Like that's fun. That's all fun, all in good fun. So like I feel like that's okay. But yeah, so in summary here, my final rating of this movie is going to be an 8.5.
Wow, an 8.5.
8.5.
I thought you were gonna go for just an 8, but
8.5, man.
That's pretty good.
I had a good time with this, dude. Like, I had a really, really good time with this movie. I left the movie thinking, fucking wow. I thought that this was gonna be fucking dog shit. Like, I thought this was gonna be like watching fucking
Oh yeah, so
Teen Wolf.
your standards were in the ground.
My standards
below
were
ground.
beneath the fucking dirt, dude. And I walked out of that being pleasantly fucking surprised that this was a decent movie. Like, and so like now, granted, it's not in my top like 5, so to speak. Like, Barbie is a better movie than this for sure.
Oh yeah,
which
for
is
sure.
why I'm not giving this a 9 out of 10. I would be doing myself an injustice by doing so. But I also feel that this movie deserves a little bit more than what people are going to be giving it. And so 8.5 feels right for me because of my enjoyment with it and walking out of it feeling pretty damn good about this movie. Like we said, Archie, David, and Jamon, they kill it.
Yeah.
They fucking carry this movie like no goddamn other, dude.
We said nothing about Orlando Bloom.
I mean, he's not that great in this, man. Like,
He sucked in this. I
He's
was
not that great in this.
At some points, I just forgot that that's Orlando Bloom because it's just like
Literally.
you know, because he's so bad.
So, dude, it's funny because like one of my like least favorite things that he does, and I didn't realize that this is a thing that he does outside of Lord of the Rings. So there's this little lip thing that he does where he he says something and he goes that like he like accentuates it with his lips back. And I thought it was just in Lord of the Rings because they all had to learn, various languages, and his language being Elven, one of the Elven languages. I thought that it was just like the way that he was saying, like enunciating the L's and the T's in that language.
Yeah.
And I realized in Pirates of the Caribbean, it's not. It's a thing that he does, and he does it so much in this movie.
It makes it look like he's dubbed over.
Literally, like he does it
I was like,
so much
this
in this
feels
movie.
like a foreign film that they had like some one random white guy, like you know what I mean, and they dub him over.
I don't know. He kind of just feels like this eccentric, like doesn't need to be there ass fucking character that is literally just there because of like the story involvement.
There's a scene where they take him out, like he runs up to David Harbour's like little station, and he puts on the headphones, and he's like, it's like what's going like, and then everyone's like
no,
get back, like that's how I feel about the film. Like you don't need to be here, man. Stay over there.
They literally could have casted anybody for this role. Anybody for this fucking role. Like any other actor in this movie could have played that role. Like,
because I would say have you ever did you see the movie like the Tetris movie, like the guy like going to sell like Tetris to like Nintendo?
No, I did not. I did see a like 3-minute scene of it, and it's
like if
Edgerton is selling Tetris, right? I saw the scene where he like goes to talk to the CEO of Nintendo, and then he comes back to explain to his boss why he needs money. That's the scene that I saw.
Like in the first act, like that's what it felt like Orlando Bloom's character was about to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that, like him pulling up to Nissan and doing the marketing thing. I thought like that gave me the impression of like, oh, okay, maybe his character is gonna be like his plot of his character is to like sell to Nissan, like let's get this GT racing thing going on. And
but
it just doesn't formulate.
They just
like
give it to him.
Characters, they just nothing formulate. Like the Lamborghini asshole, the Kappa guy.
Yeah. Fuck that dude.
There's like he's supposed to be an antagonist, but he barely shows up, and then like. There's no arc to his character at all. Like
he's
there's
just
a point
dick, front to back.
Yeah,
they gave more of an arc for the bad guy at the academy than they do the bad guy in the movie.
Like, I'm like, because like the Kappa guy, like in the first time he's an asshole. Like they have that little scuffle. Archie's character or Jan like goes up to him. You could have killed me, bro. We could have killed me. You could have killed. And then like you see on the Kappa dude's face, like he's actually concerned,
right?
You know, like the words actually. I'm like, so okay. I'm like, so wait, maybe this guy will change. You know?
Nope.
Like maybe this is his arc for him. The next scene he's in, like just starts being a dickhead. Like
pretty much does it again, dude. He does it again, man. They were like, fuck this guy.
There's the dude in the Audi. We don't see him. We see like him in his helmet in the car, and that's it. but like they made it a point to point him out. Like that's like
the
you gotta
German
watch
guy,
out for.
the German guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
all he does is say fuck and shit. Like that's all he does.
That's all he does.
It's like,
you're right.
fuck. Like
Yeah, go.
Scheisse,
He's like fucking gamers. Like he says that.
game. That's it. That's all he's there for.
Oh, dude, man, it's fucking good. Well, guys, that means that our final rating on this movie is going to be a 7.5 from Good Kraken here, and man, I'm happy. I'm happy for that. I can bow down to a 7.5 for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 7.5 is I think that's like a great score for this film.
Yeah,
'Cause it's like
yeah.
It teeters between 7 and 7.5. I don't think it goes higher than that for me. For you, it does. I know that for sure. I don't think it goes higher.
For me, it goes higher just because like I enjoy the formula sports movies. So like that, like I've got that worked just fine for me. I can deal with that. I also recognize that there's some problems in this, obviously. So like I'm willing to say yes.
I just hate that it's in the title. Like if it wasn't in the title, I wouldn't give it so much shit. Like,
well, you guys at home can decide for yourselves if that's a sin or a saint for this film. In the meantime, though, we can talk about our schedule for next week. So Tuesday, we are doing our official MCU Phase 2 rankings, along with our MCU rankings, generally speaking. That's 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Next Thursday, we have another episode of the Shipwreck Show live recording that you guys can be a part of. Next Friday, and we're still working out some of the details on this of how we're going to like pull this off with how busy the week is. I might not be able to be on another Shipwreck episode, but we'll figure it out. Because after the last episode, I might need to be. Anyways, next Friday, tentatively, we're going to have another Ocean Shrine story time where I will be playing Starfield. And I'll see if maybe one of you guys might want to join me, but we're still working out the logistics. Mostly because on Saturday, we plan on doing a Good Kraken podcast with our official spoiler-free review of The Equalizer 3. It's going to be a fun one because all of us are fans of this franchise. The Equalizer is great, and our king, Denzel Washington, is even greater in everything he fucking does. Everything. I love this man. Now you go and tell that boy. I love him in fucking everything, man.
Dude, I love his the lip quiver is like his signature, dude.
Now what are you fucking doing? I love that man so goddamn much, dude. Anyways, guys, please let us know your thoughts on the Gran Turismo movie based on a true story. Sorry. Let us know if you're excited to see
on
it.
A true story.
Yeah, based on a review, based on a story about a story that's based on the video game. Let us know your thoughts if you're excited about seeing it. Let us know if you don't want to see it. We want to hear from you guys all over the place. Check it out on Discord. Let us hear from you on Twitter. Tell us on Instagram comments, all the good things. Anyways, this has been the Good Kraken Podcast, your choice for all the nerdy video game and pop media news, reviews, and discussions that you wanted to hear, live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 12 p.m. right here at twitch.tv/Good Kraken Show. If you enjoyed the show, you can head on over to our Discord channel where you can submit questions and topics of the show, get exclusive post-show content, and have early access to episodes before we go live on podcasts and video services across the digital sea.
Yarr.
Thank you, DJ. You can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, clicking that beautiful bell and big red button, or by subscribing to our podcast channel by searching Good Kraken with an exclamation mark and leaving a review there. We have to get going, everybody, but until next time, my friends, I've raced this track 1,000 times.
Imagine you call your mom after getting the job opportunity of a lifetime, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so proud of you." Like,
we'll talk about this, Austin. Bye, guys.